Now, this is the kind of message we want to also spread across the world. This sort of positive thinking about one's true sort of nature. How can we amplify this kind of message to the wider audience beyond the Dharma centers and the academic circles? Can you give us some advice? Of course, we have now the website where we can find a great deal of materials for beginners and for intermediate learners and very advanced learners and practitioners. But how can we reach a broader audience?
Yes, well, that's a fascinating question, and I think it's a very important one. And we've been thinking about this a lot in 84,000. You know, we making huge efforts, and the sponsors are spending, you know, very considerable sums on helping us to translate all of the Buddha's words and the incredible texts and making them available. And I think it takes quite a long time for people to really notice, you know, and to become aware that that material is there, and again to really use it, not just sort of look at it and say, yeah, okay, you know, next click, you know, go somewhere else. We're all so dispersed, and it's very difficult, isn't it? But I think one thing is there are so many people who are interested in Buddhism, mindfulness, meditation, yoga, you know, in the sense of a sort of bit of a, you know, give some kind of relief, or some kind of brief moment of, you know, getting away from the stresses and strains, or some way of relieving, you know, the pressures of life. It would be really nice to get people to see that it goes a lot further than that. You know what I mean? It's such a pity, and I think people who sort of take up Buddhism like a sort of hobby, you know, like you might, or meditation like sort of woodworking or collecting stamps. You know what I mean? It's so much more. It would be so nice to find ways of making it more obvious to people how important it was, and how essential you know, the meaning of the teaching is. But it's very hard, isn't it? It's very hard to get that across. And I think you know, you can't go around sort of preaching. I think that's one of the wonderful things, again, that impressed me about the Dharma when I first met Buddhist teachers, was that actually nobody was forcing me. And nobody was saying, you know, you must come, you must do this, you must do that, you must believe this, you must believe that. And that makes you more interested in a way. So I think it takes time, and we have to sort of try to be visible, and try to find ways of inspiring people. But I want to tell a wonderful story. You probably, many of you heard of Nyoshul Ken Rinpoche, Nyoshul Khenpo, who was a wonderful Khenpo teacher, and I'm sure you know him well, Kama, who spent many years here too, and was with us some of the time when we were in retreat. And he used to like going to the seaside, and he went several times in on the west coast of Brittany, and the coast near here, which is a couple of hours away. These huge beaches, and he would see people lying on the beach, you know, in the sun. And several times he said he wanted to hire a kind of loudspeaker van and go around teaching people and saying, you know, don't just lie there in the sun. You know, if you have the leisure and the time, it's wonderful, and you must use it for something meaningful. You know what I mean? And to try to explain, you know, the nature of mind and things to people. But of course, he knew that wouldn't work. But he said how frustrating it is, you know, to see people with all this time and leisure, and the best thing that they can find to do with it is to lie with not very many clothes on, sometimes none at all, on a beach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was sort of he was sort of amused and frustrated and really wanted to try and do something. And of course, um, I don't think he ever did manage to hire a loudspeaker van, and even if he had, it hadn't gone down too well.
Naked on the beach sounds like an ideal situation to practice Dzogchen and even enhance one's pleasure in this. So with that, I think we should conclude the session. John, thank you very, very much for coming to talk to us. And I hope you'll come back again. And we hope.
Yes, well, I'm sorry to have given such a sort of disjointed, chaotic, just a few random thoughts. That's why I said I thought this would be sort of a dilettantist rambling, because that's what it is. But anyway, just to give a taste and to, make contact. And I can't contribute in the same way that some of your wonderful previous guests have been able to, reeling off incredible details about, what each commentator had in terms of, exact views about the different aspects of Buddha nature. That's not really my thing, but I certainly have been very, very inspired by the teachings and hope to continue studying them for the rest of my life and trying to make them available to people. And in particular, I do hope to get this commentary published in the next year or two, let's say. So
thank you. No, in fact, thank you. In fact, we spend even longer time with you than most others, because you have this very unique, different approach of a very thoughtful, contemplative approach to the topic. So thank you very much for that. And thank you, audience, wherever you are, and have a wonderful weekend. Wish you the best with the rest of the Sagadawa that we are observing here in the Himalayas. So thank you. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you, Marcus.
Thank you all.
Thank you, John.